late edition if you're tapping in with me in the West Coast. But if you're in the East Coast, obviously it's a little bit, it's way later actually. But if you're somewhere in Europe, this is probably going to be somewhere in the uh, morning times for you. But on any regard, we got an interesting topic that I'd like to bring up on this live stream. Okay, a few good topics regarding number one, what is going on right now with the LA riots in Los Angeles because of ICE coming in there, taking a lot of people out, and the arguments behind that. Look, there's two common arguments that go into this particular subject. Okay, the two common subjects and the two common arguments is as it follows. Okay, number one, these people should have never been here in the first place because they were illegal. They should have came in here the right way. This is always the common argument, saying something to the effect of, well, my uncle or my dad or name X, Y, and Z family member came here the right way, whatever that means, right? And oftentimes it's spoken with a different set of circumstances that may not be identical to each person. Like each person may have something that is completely different in terms of their circumstances and how they got here, right? That's one particular argument. The other argument is that, well, you're breaking families away, you're making orphans out of children. And then the other argument of that is, well, you know what? You should have never done that in the first place. You should have never broken the law, right? Similar to, let's say, if you were to go out of public in a shopping center and you're out with your kid and all of a sudden you act up and you act a fool. So, of course, it's no wonder that you're going to get jacked up, tased, and arrested, right? That goes with the territory. That's really where a lot of these people are coming from in terms of, well, you know what? You should have done this or you should have done that without really looking at the empathetic side of the set of circumstances that that person has gone through. Now, look, here's another thing, right? Uh, there's an aspect of people out there that have had court dates for, let's say, coming in here illegally, right? So they were told that, you know what, you had to come here, go through the court systems, and then after you go through the court systems, then maybe you can try and pursue legal means of being here. But on the other side of that, unfortunately, um, Bomb Squad says, "What is this channel about?" Well, Bomb Squad, I'm glad that you asked, right? Because I'm an MMA channel, but not only am I an MMA channel, I'm also a cultural, sociological, and also a geopolitical channel as well. Like I delve into these topics as well. The other specialty that I delve into is California politics, which sort of goes into this, and California politics by means of not only municipal, but also in the county and state level. And then on top of that, also talking about gangs as well. So HH asks, do you support such and such? Well, I got to tell you, I am a Muslim, and there are just certain things that are against our beliefs, but I do respect everyone equally. And yeah, so Bomb Squad says nobody does. Okay, a bit of an inflammatory response towards HH, but nonetheless, thank you for everybody that is tapping in right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And like I said, right, this is a channel that is multi versed in different set of politics, different set of ideas. Obviously, I'm a Muslim by the end of the day, but we all have our own beliefs. But I also respect the beliefs of others, and also I want to come in here and learn from your beliefs as well, right? I'm very firm in my beliefs as a Muslim, and that's that. But at the same time, I'm also willing to learn about other people's beliefs for my own set of education. Bomb Squad says, did I ask? Okay, so we got a little bit of a little conflict going on in the chat right now. So as we are speaking on this particular subject, right, we're looking at this particular subject with the LA riots in two different lenses. The first lens that we look at the LA riots is that Well, all right, there's law and order, but at what point, at what cost is it lawful, or is it a set of law and order for you to take families away from each other? Now, I got to tell you, the other question that I think we're going to get out of this riot is, what type of country do we want to be as the United States? Do we want to be a country that has, well, for some people's viewing, sort of a fascist set of views in terms of just taking people's families away from each other or this and that? But that's one side of the coin. The other coin is, man, we got to have law and order, right? There's all of these things going on. HH says, I have no clue what's going on. In terms of what exactly, HH, you have no clue what's going on? Are you talking about specifically the riots, or are you talking about specifically the matters subject at hand that someone is speaking to you about in the chat? But either way, I would like to know, and let me know. And we are here to engage and have a civil discourse with one another, whether we agree with our own views or whether we don't, right? I know that as a Muslim and as somebody that stands firm on that, there were many years where I was, well, how do I say this, very intolerant of other people, right? To a certain extent, there are certain things that, as a Muslim and what I believe in, I'm not going to tolerate. But at the age that I'm at right now, I'm also very much eager to learn about everybody and what it is that they have to offer. Also, what it is that forces people to think the way that they do. So, a real true student of the game, I think, is the best way to put it. So, the other subjects that we're going to talk about, obviously, some bonus subjects talking about Trump and Elon Musk. Now, you're probably going to wonder, how will that relate to your life? Well, in multitudes of ways, right? Obviously, there's the aspects of the economy within the United States that you have to deal with. And also, if Trump decides to make moves around that, like, will he somehow make moves around Elon Musk in a very emotional way where it could damage the relationship between, let's say, SpaceX or the other forms of exploration that they're going to do? And also, what about Doge? Now, I know it's a very controversial subject. Maybe there are some people out there that like Doge. They may not like Doge, or they may love what Doge has going on, or maybe they don't, or maybe you think that it's effective. But either way, whatever aisle you're going to sit on in that particular subject of Doge, rest assured that's going to change in a certain matter when it comes to the emotions that Trump and Elon Musk has going on. And you know what? Here's the thing about it, right? I think a lot of people are very fascinated by this particular beef with Trump and Elon, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason why people are highly fascinated with this beef is because you look at somebody like Trump, you look at somebody like Elon Musk, and then you look at their accomplishments, you look at the power that they both hold, the power that they both give each other, and the power that they facilitate for each other, and you think, this is virtually impossible that these two men are going to somehow going to ever beef with each other or behave like gang members on the streets, or Whack 100 on Clubhouse arguing with Big U, right? Well, if for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, just look up what I'm talking about. They're basically gangster influencers online, and that is basically how Trump and Elon Musk are behaving. So when you look at that, you think, man, that is above them. That is beneath them to do something like that. But is it though? And the reality is it's not. You ever oftentimes remembered when you were in grade school, right? You've seen a teacher do something that was out of the norm. At least that's how I remembered it in the 90s. Obviously, it's a different generation now, but if you went to grade school in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where the teacher would act as if they were, uh, how do I say this? Holy art thou, right? They could do no wrong. And then all of a sudden, one day, you heard them coming out of their break room or their lunchroom cursing a storm, and you think, wow, a teacher would never be able to be capable of that. But the reality is they are. They are very much capable of that. And you know what? All your leaders, all your parents that you thought were perfect all your life, all your pastors, your imams, your rabbis, or whoever it is, you often think that they are perfect people, but the reality is maybe they're not. And Elon Musk and Trump, with the position that they are at in the world right now, I think can really give you that insight clue as to the reality of who they are, right? And who they are is when you strip them down to the core of not being a billionaire, not being the president, not being an oligarch in the world of technology, not being the number one leader in the world, in the free world, that is, right? You strip all that down. What are they really? They are just men who are all about their egos. And just like us, we are all about our egos. For example, why is it that I love to get in here and talk to you guys? It's really that simple. It's ego. I want to do good. I want to become a YouTube star, and I want to do great on YouTube, and I want to do great in the MMA space in this particular genre, but also expand in other genres. And that takes ego. Now, as you know, I'm an MMA channel on a conventional level, right? On the normal sense, or in the homeostasis of the reality of this page. That is what I am to the core, an MMA page. But why is it that I'm here doing content regarding the LA riots and also regarding other MMA subject matters at hand? It's all about ego, but also it's just also personal interest, and also just trying to understand. Because going back to the LA riots, okay, I think it's really essential to understand that there are two sides to this particular coin and two sides to this particular subject. Now, for those people that are all about the law and order, that support ICE, support Donald Trump, I understand why you think that way, and I understand why you stand on that. But for the people that are affected by it, the families that are affected by it, I completely understand on their particular matter too. But however, the people that are pro Trump and pro ICE, I think there is one particular element that they are missing, and that is the element of humanity, right? Because I understand you can say, well, you know what? They should have never crossed over in the border in the first place, right? They're the ones that brought their children into this. I understand, but the fact is the children are still involved. And at what point do you ask yourself as a human being uh, the difference between law and order, and the difference between doing what is right and what is good? You got to understand, right? The one thing that I think America is very special at in comparison to anyone in the world. And if you want to know what that is, I need you guys to hit the like and button, the subscribe button, so that I can tell you exactly what makes America exceptional anywhere else in the world other than, uh, well, other countries that may emulate or may try to follow suit in what America has going on. Okay, it's this, okay? I need you to understand this. America is great at allowing discretion. Okay, what do I mean by discretion? Well, obviously, there is a balance of power, okay, that is going on in America, right? Or checking the power, about the checking the balance of power, right? You have the executive branch, you have the other branches of government that are in the United States. You have the judicial branch, which is separate from the executive branch, which ultimately, encompasses the president. And then you have state laws, you have municipal laws, and then you have states that can act on their own and create laws on their own. Like, for example, some states may allow marijuana, some don't. Some states allow gun usage, some don't. Some allow an open carry, some don't. Some don't allow you to have guns at all. Some have stricter restrictions on guns. But actually, there's no parts of America that don't allow you to have guns. It's just the different states that have uh, different uh, different discretions in how they go about it. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that what is exceptional about America is that it allows you to have discretion. And this is where the problem lies right now with this riot. So you have Trump, who is exercising his executive power to the fullest extent. How exactly is he doing that? Well, for one, he's deploying Marines to LA, right? And this is very unusual because this is not what Marines do. What Marines do are overseas operations, and usually one of their biggest specialties, believe it or not, is embassy security. As a U.S. Marine, one of your one of your specialties as a U.S. Marine is embassy security. You guys understand that, right? If you go to any American base around the world, there are Marines that are deployed there as a security force. So, what does that mean? That means that Marines were made for overseas operations, not operations within the United States where they are potentially targeting Americans. Now, where is it that Trump got this idea that he could bring in United States Marines inside America? Well, I think the fact that there are foreign nationals involved, there are illegals involved, and then there are people that are willing to help them being involved. That is where the justification probably lies within trying to, I guess, have full justification and full on rights to be able to execute full justification this on right to be able to execute this particular matter at hand, right? Uh, but again, I think it's a little bit over the line. When you say it's a little bit over the line, and at what point will some of his supporters understand that you know what this is going a little above and beyond? And I don't know. I don't think that they will, man, because by the end of the day, I think that the Trump supporters are going to support him nonetheless. But another topic that we wanted to talk about in this particular live stream that I put on the description below. Also, why did Dana White say at the UFC post-fight press conference at UFC 316 New Jersey that Jon Jones agreed to fight Tom Aspinall? Right, we're going to talk about that particular subject as well. Right, why did he say that? Was there any merit to him saying that, or is there really a lot of things going on behind the scenes? Again, I'm going to go back to my original take, which is that I think they are waiting to announce it. And as such, they want to build so much anticipation that they're not only keeping a gag order, but maybe even going as far as, how do I say this, even playing along with the possibility that this Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall fight is not going to happen. But more on that, because there's a lot of subject matters that we can get at with this LA riots thing, right? So let me see what are some of the live streams that are covering this right now. Okay, so it looks like we got some Okay, so it looks like they're saying that unrest is continuing now at what, day 4? This is now day 4, as they say, right? Man, and how about this? Gavin Newsom is also planning on running for president at some point. So now you got to think what will come out of this. Okay. Alex, I'm here in downtown Los Angeles. We are standing not far from LAPD headquarters where they've been firing non-lethal weapons at the crowd. We were actually crouched down behind a wall up until a couple of minutes ago. People were racing to get out of the way. And I think what provoked that is that there was a woman throwing golf balls at the police at a car. And so they took a strong Wow, man, we're throwing golf balls at the cops now, man. What is this? You know what, man? Golf balls hurt, man. So, those cops are liable to, really, yeah, man, react in a very violent manner.
That's the theme song, Elliot. The theme song of the weekend. YG, don't copyright strike me. I don't own that song. I need to get sponsored by hand sanitizer. I'm using a lot of it tonight. I don't know that song.
All right.
It takes a lot of hand sanitizer.
All right, so we're going to cover multiple channels at this right now and see what is going on in the world of LA and their riots right now. So we are, yeah, we're definitely going to take a look at that. All right, so yeah, man. So what about the Dana White and the Jon Jones situation, right? I just think that what's going on with that is really as simple as this, right? I just think that there are elements going on that we don't know about, and quite frankly, they don't want anyone to know, and that is predicated on the fact that they have plans to do. Oh, wait, what is this? Hold on.
Is now suing to try to stop the Marines and to stop.
Okay, so now protests in LA and OC. Union leader David Huerta's ICE arrested sparked outrage. Trump now sends 2,000 National Guards and 700 Marines, 70 plus arrested, 5 LAPD officers injured so far. So that's what's going on with all of this right now.
Searching for 40-year-old Elpidio Reyna, accused of throwing rocks.
Oh, wow, look at this. They're trying to
protest in Paramount on Saturday. And we had that video. One agent was injured in that rock scenario. Now $50,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest. The man you see right there on your screen. Yeah, Fox 11's Matthew Cedar breaking that story after they were the
look at this.
First captured this video. So that's believed to be the man who was responsible for throwing all of that.
Man.
We'll see if law enforcement is able to apprehend him now with the public's help. And here is Matthew's report.
Yeah, so they're really about to go arrest this dude for that.
An urgent manhunt now underway for the man seen in this viral video launching rocks like missiles at Border Patrol.
And it's because it was viral too.
What he's finding out tonight is he's unleashed the power of the federal government. We will find him. On Saturday, Border Patrol had a staging area in Paramount when they were confronted by protesters. Agitators then started throwing glass bottles and concrete chunks towards authorities.
Man, this is crazy stuff, man.
Pepper spray and rubber bullets. As our agents were leaving the area, rocks were thrown.
Okay, so yeah, they were throwing rocks at them. Marty Miller says, I saw that they had Marines moving in on LA. Yup. They are, Marty Miller. I couldn't believe that either, because you know what? That is not what Marines are used for. So I don't know what Trump was thinking doing that, but I think his only justification is that there are illegals involved, and so as such, these actions are justified, at least in his eyes, of some sort, right? So yeah, it's crazy, man.
Assaulted our officers. We've got the FBI working around the clock. We have agents out there. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will charge you. We're not going to be deterred in what we do for immigration enforcement. 4 days of chaos across.
Wow, man. Yeah, 4 days of chaos already. That's already 4 days of this. That's crazy to think, man. This is already 4 days.
Whether it's arresting illegal aliens.
Look at this.
Facilities, we're going to do that. Anyone think that this guy or any other thug out there is going to stop us from doing our job, pulling our resources. There's going to be even more enforcement in the city of Los Angeles now because of the activities you're seeing on TV. Reporting in downtown LA, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News. Matthew, thank you.
Yeah, that dude looks like a dork. Yeah, you know what? Oh, we're gonna. I don't know, man, but yeah, man, it's some crazy stuff that's going on right now over there in that part of the world.
Not explaining their complicated views on how to fix the immigration system. This is when we talk about the anarchists, when we talk about the agitators, when we talk about the same people that come out in downtown LA.
All right, here's a live.
15 years ago would see these people that would do this sort of thing. This is what we're talking about. They are clearly there to try to mess things up right near the Shohei Ohtani mural that Robert Vargas painted there. And they are just there to sow chaos, and they're not being arrested right now. And law enforcement is just looking on and watching this all happen. That is in the Little Tokyo area still, and as we saw the setup that they have there, they created quite something there with the fencing that they set up and that large white whatever it is that they're able to set on fire. And obviously,
Yeah.
you can see that they are quite organized. Los Angeles Police Department. Law enforcement. After they broke the glass, they set a fire in the kiosk of the LAPD that was stationed there at the Grove. That video is on my channel right now. So if you act like you're gonna join the members, when you click into that little area, that's the video that plays. And I think it's like the first couple minutes. It showed and trying to find shelter.
Sorry. How about now? Can you hear me? Sorry about that. How about now? Can you hear me?
Public safety. That is their sole responsibility. So I'm obviously have never worked in law enforcement, so excuse me if this is an ignorant question, but I think there's got to be some other people that are wondering it too. We see all sorts of law enforcement out there. There's not that many people that are left behind here. They're all clearly causing problems. Why not move in and arrest some of these people? Well, the tactics right now that are being
Because they don't have enough manpower. That's why he's asking, why aren't they able to arrest them? Well, because they outnumber the cops. You got to think, man, this is really provoking a lot of people, and you got to ask yourself why, right? Now, look, I don't condone anybody going out there doing anything or anything like that, but I can kind of see and understand why people have their choices that they have.
This is not any longer about immigration. This is about preserving the peace and maintaining a good response that is going to keep the citizens of Los Angeles safe. Meaning, what do you mean when you say? I mean, obviously you're hinting at something, but what exactly do you mean by politically motivated on that front? Well, at the end of the day, these people are displaying very violent behavior. They're looting, they're rioting. Let's call it what it is. These aren't protests. Unfortunately, Mayor Bass, county officials within the county of Los Angeles, city officials within the city of Los Angeles do not want to assist federal law enforcement agencies upon a call for help and assistance to maintain order. Because
Okay, now that's where the problem is right here, right? The problem is that, they are not allowed to help the federal agents. I'm talking about the local cops. They are being told to stand down by Mayor Karen Bass. And as a result, that is a reason why uh, having them called for assistance is a little bit harder because the mayor told LAPD, hey, listen, don't go after the immigrants, but guess who the ICE agents are going after? The immigrants. So it kind of makes it a very difficult, a political, but also chain of command type of reasoning behind it. But yeah.
You represent 3,000 sheriff's deputies in LA County. We also saw Orange County deputies turn out as well. You talked about the stress of the job in general. We've covered that story as well.
Yeah, man, just a whole lot of crazy things going on in LA right now, man. A whole lot of crazy stuff. A whole lot of crazy stuff. Something that we would never imagine to happen.
Let's do it. Working mandatory back-to-back doubles and triples. We've got multiple members right now that are working up to 12 days straight. This is not sustainable.
Wow, yeah, you got cops that are working 12 days. Yeah, that's a lot.
About 25 positions down right now within the LA County Sheriff's Department. Operationally, within the county, this cannot sustain itself.
Dre TY says too much dead weight in society. Half of those never left their county. Who are you talking about? The protesters, Dre? Let me know who you're talking about.
For calling in the National Guard and the Marines to maintain order because local officials refuse at the command staff level to do so. And our deputies and all of our law enforcement deserve better. They've been left behind. They feel abandoned. And I'm speaking on behalf of thousands of law enforcement officers right now who do feel abandoned. Can you talk about the kinds of things that are said to deputies on the ground by some of these folks who are not always the kindest in their comments? Well, it's some of the most horrific things that you can possibly imagine. They're wishing the death upon law enforcement officers, the death of their families. They are,
which is why a lot of ICE agents are wearing masks because they don't want to be identified because there have been ICE agents before that have been doxxed, right? So they want to be very careful at that.
Right now, in order to maintain order. They are so overworked. This is so unfathomable. This is a repeat of 2020. Everyone sees that. Law enforcement officers right now are experiencing a repeat of what happened 5 years ago.
Not just a repeat of 5 years ago, but also a repeat of the 1992 riots with King. You guys remember Rodney King. That time it was the blacks that were rioting. This time it's the Mexicans that are rioting. So
are going about their efforts. It does not mean that local law enforcement are engaging in ICE activities or deportation removals. That's not what's happening. They're asking for assistance to maintain order. And the lack of response and the delayed response is directly attributed to the chaos that you're seeing unfold on your screen. Had there not been a measured response, had there been an appropriate response to this, you would not have seen this county.
So in other words, what the sheriff's spokesman is saying right here is that if it wasn't for the miscommunication and if it wasn't for the conflict between LAPD being told to stand down by Mayor Karen Bass, there wouldn't be this turmoil that we're witnessing right now. because there would be better communication. They would be able to hamper down this particular problem that they have going on, and they would be able to suppress any type of resistance that may come about. But yeah, that's yeah.
So I think that that is a very, I think that that is a narrative that is going around right now. And I think that the Marines and the National Guard do have a clear response. That's to support the boots on the ground right now that are taking bricks, bottles, and are experiencing absolute chaos. Their job right now is to maintain order and to try to reestablish peace right now within this big of Los Angeles.
Yeah, you know what? This right here, I'm going to tell you when it comes to the peace thing, right? Them trying to maintain peace. I think that is easier said than done. And I think that this is going to be a serious, serious riot in their hands right now, if not going into a civil war situation. I'm going to tell you why, right? So their main objective is they want to increase the peace or somehow create some sort of de-escalation process. Well, that's not going to happen because there's an ideological force that is driving these people right now. Look, here's a certain ideological aspect that you have to understand that drives people into radicalism, right? And it is this: what drives people into radicalism is if you mess with their way of life and their way of routine and their way of survival. I think that has happened here. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, understand that people's lives are being altered. And as such, people are compelled to an ideological force in order to create some kind of resistance. This is very similar to what you've seen in Iraq with the insurgents. This is very similar to what you've seen with all types of revolutions all across time. And yeah, what this sheriff is talking about is de-escalation, but it is easier said than done. And obviously, that is not what is going to happen based on the ideological force that is motivating these people to be out in the streets, with the mixture of all the turmoil that is going on in society right now, and people just wanting to get out there and riot for whatever reason. But yeah,
investigation that will determine how those things occurred. What you're seeing is not spontaneous in any event. It's just not. And law enforcement on the ground, fully uniformed law enforcement, can't say that. And that's the unfortunate circumstance that we're seeing. This could have been stopped. It wasn't stopped because of politically motivated agendas.
Yeah, so he's saying that it could have been stopped, but because of the political agendas at play, it was harder for them to do that. And as a result, this is what you got in the process, is what he's saying.
Fires on the street, and yet everybody's allowed to just wander and do their thing. And yet, if our parking meter goes 2 minutes too long, there's a ticket right there. How does that happen? I mean, who are we protecting? What are our priorities right now as a society that this guy's allowed to hack the sidewalk?
That's very true. Yeah, this guy's allowed to hack the sidewalk, and yet you get a ticket for speeding a one limit over.
It's so funny. This should be ended right now. And so I would look at the chief of police of Los Angeles, and I would look at the sheriff of LA County, and I would ask those two people those very serious questions, because this could be ended right now. It's not being ended right now, and the people deserve better. This is much broader than just law enforcement community that are under attack that deserve better. The people of LA County, the people of the city of Los Angeles deserve better. Look at what you're seeing. This looks like a third world country right now, what I'm seeing on your screen. And so should this be ended? Can it be ended? Absolutely. Is it? No. Well, there will be those who will agree with you, and those.
And the reason why I agree with him in saying it's not going to be ended is because, you know what, there is an ideological force that is driving these people, and then there are people out there where, you know what, in LA, it's monkey see, monkey do, right? It's literally monkey see, monkey do in every sense of the word, right? I mean, that is the type of society that you have in LA. What you have is when you see one person doing one thing, one person that is going off of a trend, the next person is going to do it. So you add that with political, ideological settings that are going on right now, where these people are emboldened by the news and what's happening to their fellow fill in the blank, their fellow Mexicans, their fellow Los Angelian, or just their fellow human being, whatever category you want. Marty Miller says, I heard that they used instigators too, just hearsay though. Well, you know what? It is a hearsay, but at the same time, it's not far fetched, Marty Miller, because you got to understand somebody like George Soros has done this before. Heck, even Elon Musk, believe it or not. What if Elon Musk is behind all this, right? I mean, just imagine, right? It's going to make Trump look really bad, right? And Elon Musk has the money, the power, and the resources to do so. But yeah, again, I wouldn't put it past anybody. I wouldn't put it past what you're saying, because even though it may be seen by the conventional minded sense that it's nothing more than conspiracy theory, it's not far fetched based on what we know from history.
Was somebody taking a hammer to the sidewalk to then be able to get rocks in their bag to throw at law enforcement? That's what we're watching.
Wow.
I mean, that's what's
okay, so how about that? They are chipping away at the streets, right? Just chipping it away like this. You know what I mean? Just so they can pick up rocks off the street to throw at law enforcement. You know what I mean? Now that's crazy. That's similar to what they do, I guess, in Gaza back in the days. It's a common thing for them to say that, these people have, rocks or whatever, the Palestinians, and they throw it at the Israeli soldiers. But yeah, that's sort of very similar here.
It's happening now. So when are we going to crack down? What's the time to make that call?
That's a great point.
There's a fire now that's being set.
It is, and this is not the first time. This is another arson. This is
yeah, we are on the same page, Marty Miller. Like the Palace of Rock randomly sitting around during the BLM riots. Well, this one, they're taking the rocks from the streets. They're chipping it off the streets. So, but yeah, I mean, in the other one, it is they just gave them rocks or whatever. But yeah,
100% adding fuels to the flames. His rhetoric is one thing.
Okay, now this is Sheriff, okay, who is under Gavin Newsom, Governor Gavin Newsom. This is what he's saying.
Lack of cooperation with the state of California and local officials. There's not our hearts and prayers go out to
pallets of bricks, yeah.
Right now that are just absolutely exhausted and watching this unfold. This could end right now. It's not, and so. Law enforcement officers in California are the best trained in the country. LA County Sheriff's Department, best trained in the country. This can end. Unfortunately, you saw the measured response and statements of LA County Sheriff Luna and the LA City Police Chief McDonald.
So he's saying that all of this can end, but they choose not to, and he's stating that there is a political angle as to why that is.
So that is what needs to change, and I would, ask anyone that is watching to call on their local officials and ask them to make this stop.
This all started with protests about immigration and ICE operations. I'm assuming you feel there is a place for peaceful protest.
Absolutely. This is not peaceful. And what a peaceful protest looks like are people who are on the sidewalk. They're not blocking cars. They're not lighting vehicles on fire. They're not bringing hammers to a peaceful protest. They're holding signs and they're chanting. And they're doing these things on the sidewalk, and they're not obstructing vehicles or preventing people from going about their daily business. That is not.
Yeah, this is like 1992, but just a different narrative. These are rioters and looters, not protesters, for the most part. They're not all protesters. Some of them are, just looters and rioters.
Convenience store owners, businesses, if they're trying to make a point, that's not a protest. That is, that's That's a violent protest, and those people deserve to be in jail, every single one of them. And it could have been prevented from the get-go. That vehicle right now that you see on your screen that is on fire, every single one of those people right now should be cleared out immediately. Fire should be rolling in so that no other vehicles or structures are caught on fire. Those people should be dispersed, and every deputy and officer wants that to happen. You have to ask yourself, why is that not happening? It's not happening because the chain of command at the top is not allowing it to happen. Okay, it's not something crazy. Yeah, is that we're standing across the street with it on. Hey, send to this dude right here. This is Jacob. That's gone live. Bakersfield. Exactly. He's one of the best out here. Thank you for showing that to us. You said it's right. Oh.
Oh, wow.
When that explosion happened, it was like a little mushroom cloud that went around it.
Every law enforcement official knows this. Appeasement makes the aggressor more aggressive, and as you're seeing, it's exploding and it's becoming more tumultuous there. The appropriate response would be an overwhelming show of force.
Dude, I felt that over my whole body. Oh my God, dude. That was not normal. That was not normal.
And around the country knows that because that's how they're trained. It's not just stand by and watch vehicles burn and then just appease the crowd. This is a violent crowd that is impacting public safety as we see it unfolding right now on the screen. So no, they need to move in right now.
We know that people around the nation
are
watching something like this, other parts of the world watching something like this. In your history, as you think of the crowd that's down there right now in this shot that we're looking at, how do you gauge this? How many are just idiots? How many have a criminal mind here? How many are from outside of LA that just came in just to cause havoc? And how many are actually very upset about what's happening with ICE?
Well, I would say that we have reports that there are thousands of people who are out of state here to create havoc. And I would tell you that anyone that's standing around a burning car and or out at this hour are not there to peacefully protest. Those people right now need to be dispersed. Anyone that you see right now on your screen needs to be dispersed from the area, and public order needs to be restored to the streets of Los Angeles. This is only promulgating and adding, flames to a very chaotic situation. Those people are not there to peacefully protest. In fact, I would argue that the majority of people who might be afraid of the deportation operations going on right now are at home with their families, protecting their families. And safe and sound. That's not who we're seeing on the streets. What we're seeing are people right now intentionally designed and deployed in order to create chaos, and it needs to stop.
Well, we know that Robert Luna, the sheriff, and Jim McDonald, LAPD chief, they have a lot of experience. Obviously, it's a very difficult situation to deal with a mass amount of people and a large protest for several days. Do you not find wisdom at all in their direction?
I think that their direction is seriously miscalculated. And I think that the chief of Los Angeles is taking...
Yeah, so from what it seems like, this sheriff right here is not for the Democrats. He's not for Karen Bass. He's not for the mayor. He's not for the leadership of Los Angeles or the leadership of California altogether, right? I think he stands with ICE. He stands with Donald Trump, and he stands with, the federal government at that. So
were affected in ways that have left them devastated ever since. I think that this is a culmination of both. This is not because of politics. These are the facts of what is happening. What you're seeing on your screen right now, since the time that we've been on air, could have ended. You know why this continues to burn? Because law enforcement officials are not being given the green light to allow fire to come in and put that fire out and extinguish those flames.
Yeah.
That's because of the command and control structure enforcement agencies in LA County that are preventing their law enforcement from putting an end to this. That there's not one law enforcement officer that's going to disagree with me on the response to the chaos. What you have to do is you have to put an end to it immediately. And the only way you can do that is through an appropriate, measured, reasonable use of force, disperse the crowds, extinguish the flames, send everyone home. If you want to maintain peace, that's how you do it.
It is remarkable as we reflect back on 2020, and Christine and I were here, and I remember getting into it with Robert Luna, who was then Long Beach chief, and bringing up a lot of those issues in real time as his city was burning at the time. But what we saw then is when law enforcement made the decision to move in and do exactly what you're saying, they were very effective, and it happened very quickly. And there were nights when they reached the point, they're like, okay, enough, we're ending this, and it happened fast, and usually happened without major problems. And that clearly decision has not been made yet, and I don't know if it will be made.
Well, I recall when you were actually getting into it with then Chief Luna, now Sheriff Luna, and you asked him very good questions. And I remember him getting very frustrated with you in your questioning. And that is now indicative of what you're seeing. You're seeing the same exact replay of 2020. The only way that you can end this is through, and I'm not talking about a use of force that goes so far beyond what's reasonable. I'm talking about just a reasonable response. Right now on your screen, you do not see one uniformed law enforcement personnel. You don't see one fire truck putting that fire out. And this is because of the command center right now within Los Angeles that is refusing to give orders to end this. And so you have to ask yourself, the basic principle for law enforcement in their response is to maintain public order and to make their citizens safe. The people of LA City, both their business owners, the residents, they're safe. That's not what's happening. You're seeing it just go up in flames. That's why right now we are asking Sheriff Robert Luna, Chief McDonald to give the commands to allow their troops to make.
So what he's calling for pretty much is to get everybody in line in order to bring safety into the city, and that's basically what he's talking about.
Story in general, and as you know, I was messaging with you. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. It's a very fluid situation. Trying to get eyes and ears in a lot of different places is very tough in a very big city and county like this, and the counties that we are covering as well, Orange County as well. But we are trying to listen to different voices and get different perspectives. So strong thoughts by you, Nick Wilson. Thank you so much, the spokesman for the.
Yeah, so I predict that this is going to go on for a very long time. Look, it's already been 4 days. It's already been 4 days that this has been going on, right? I think this is going to go on for, a whole lot longer than what people would expect, right? I think people need to buckle down on a real long ride, and I think that's what we're going to get out of this. So let's see what else here.
On night one that Mayor Bass called in around.
Oh yeah, so you guys remember Rich Trapper, right? The guy that's in my intro, right? This guy right here. Let me show you right here. You guys have seen me in his intro before. This guy right here. MMA needs, if you want to find predictions, news, and everything that deals with MMA, shout outs to Kyrie of El-Kheer MMA, Sacramento, California, represent.
That's right, Kyrie. I appreciate you, my nigga. You came in here and you was talking that shit. That's right, bro. Much love, Flo. I appreciate you for always stepping in, bro. Be safe out there. Man, my nigga Kyrie. My man Kyrie came through. He started talking that shit. Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That nigga whoop your fucking ass.
All right, so this guy, right? He's got some footage of the riots. He's on that guy right there. He's on Ground Zero. I'm gonna show you some Ground Zero films from Rich Trapper. Shout out to Rich Trapper right there. Let's see here. All right, right here. Here's some footage of him in
All right, y'all. It's time for me to get the fuck up out of here. Yeah, it's time to go. It's time to make it home safe, big dog. It's time to make it home safe. We out here. It's time to make it home safe, y'all. It's time to get up out of here. Yeah, it's time to make it home safe, bro. I got kids and shit. It's some hoes out here.
Well, all right. Listen, if you want to see the rest of that, go check out Rich Trapper's live stream. Right, it's right here.